Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to be covering a very big topic in the industry, which is Offgem increasing the market cap on natural gas and electricity prices from the 1st of July 2026. Now, for many of you this will be a worry, but for me, although I do run a business in this space, it's also a sign of hope. For many years we've been wondering, do the government take electrification seriously? There's been noise about hydrogen, there's been noise about moving back to a kind of bio-grid, but it seems that in the past 6 months, and definitely since April, since the Middle East crisis, that the government and the whole philosophy mindset we're seeing with our customers in the media has switched quite a lot towards, okay, electrification might actually be a thing that we can all look for and achieve, which is extremely exciting. For years, we've been doing heat pumps, solar and battery. I've been involved in it since I was 15. I'm 32 now, and my parents started the company way back in 2006. So we've been involved in heat pumps for over 2 decades now, and you've always kind of felt that it's never ever going to take off or it's never going to become a thing. There's a huge amount of skepticism about it. Even now, we still get a lot of skepticism about it, but the bottom line is simply this: a gas boiler pollutes CO2 and carbon emissions, which we all need to be reducing. It is not a we should be, we need to. For the future, for our children's children, it's very, very important. So today what we're going to do is just run over some very brief information about what that is, how it's going to essentially affect you, and how a heat pump efficiency-wise has changed dramatically because of these price increases. Let's get right into it. So first and foremost, I just want to explain how efficiency works of a traditional natural gas boiler. So the badged efficiency of a boiler is usually about 90%. Now what that means is that every £100 you're spending on natural gas, you're losing about £10 due to the inefficiency of burning the fuel. Now that's the badged efficiency. In reality, it'll probably be less than that, closer to 85% if it's a newish boiler. But if you have an older boiler, 15, 20 years old, sometimes even less, it could be closer to 80% or lower. So again, if it's 80%, you're losing £20 for every £100 you spend. So it is quite considerable. What you have to take into account with this inefficiency is that when you are looking at your annual gas bill, that is taking it into account. However, if you're looking at your projected gas usage, it is not taking it into account. So if you look at your gas bill and it says your projected annual usage will be, say, 10,000 kilowatt hours, you need to add at least, in my opinion, 15% to that figure in real world. So your real bills are including the inefficiency, the projected bills aren't, just to clear that up. In terms of a heat pump is a positive efficiency. So you get 300, 400% efficiency out of a heat pump. Now the simple way of looking at it is you get 3 to 4 units of heat for every unit of heat you buy. So a unit of heat is a unit of electricity. So if you're getting 3 to 4 to 1 of those, you're essentially taking your electricity cost per kilowatt hour and dividing it by whatever number you're getting. For context, that is called the seasonal coefficient of performance, or online you'll see it as SCOP. And that is the 4 seasons throughout the year on heating and hot water generally. Sometimes it's split up, heating and hot water combined to give a efficiency. So that's the key things to note about the efficiency, which is where we need to lead into next when it comes into the running costs of the heat pump versus gas boiler. So looking at my sheet here, as of the 1st of July, the market cap for natural gas is going to be 7.33 pence per kilowatt hour, and electricity is going to be capped at 26.11 pence per kilowatt hour. The change from where it is as of June to July, roughly speaking, is 5% on electricity and 25% on gas, depending on your tariff and various other factors, but essentially that's the change. Some people are quoting 25 to 27%, some people are quoting 5 to 7% on electricity cost increases, but roughly speaking, go 5 and 25. So gas has moved significantly more. So when we look at the heat pump, what we're looking at is the annual seasonal coefficient of performance. In this example here, I've assumed a 3.7 seasonal coefficient of performance. Across a lot of our installations, this is quite modest, but it does include hot water, so each to their own. I would assume that it'll probably be higher than this in most cases, but let's just be negative to the calculation just on the face of it. 10,000 kilowatt hours of natural gas usage per year, and if you move to a heat pump running at a 3.7 SCOP, you would save roughly £239 a year. If you use 15,000 kilowatt hours of gas, your saving would be £306 per year. And if you use 20,000 kilowatt hours of gas, you will save roughly £372 a year. If you don't fall under any of those categories and you use more or less, the rough maths is 1.33 pence per gas kilowatt hours is the saving. So every kilowatt hour of gas that you use, times it by 1.33, and then add £106 per year, assuming that you remove gas for the standing charge saving. So it's a considerable amount of saving that you're seeing. Now there is obviously a break-even point. The worse the SCOP, the less viable the moving from boiler to heat pump becomes. But the break-even point on that is 3.03. Now that is very, very low. In context speaking, for a heat pump to be running that poorly, there would be a problem with the system, almost definitely on a modern system. Unless you've designed it to run a ridiculous rate, or the design is done incorrectly, or the installation outside is done incorrectly, there would have to be something detrimentally wrong with the design and or install to achieve that efficiency. So in reality, from the 1st of July, essentially moving to a heat pump makes so much sense. Even if you have gas, even a low gas usage of 10,000 kilowatt hours, you're still going to save £240 a year, which is a big saving. Even if you take into account no additional generation from solar PV and or battery storage. So with the electricity price going up, there's obviously other factors we have to consider, and that is household electricity going up as well. You know, the ovens, the cookers, the lights, these kind of daily things that we can't avoid using throughout the whole year. And that's kind of where solar PV comes in. The higher the electricity cost, the more savings you see with solar PV. What you don't see, now generally speaking, is a higher electricity cost and a higher install cost. They don't tend to move together. Now this is a very specific circumstance, because what's going on in the Middle East is affecting solar PV in some degree in terms of supply and install cost. Not so much install cost in terms of labor, more in terms of material cost. So I would say there's a window of making it a really good investment to where it's going to become probably a little bit more of it's a good investment, if that makes sense. But in reality, at a market rate of 26 pence per kilowatt hour, you can install a 4 kilowatt array and see significant savings on that. So if you are considering solar PV, now is an unbelievable time to consider it. You're literally moving into a time where inflation is at some of the highest it's been lately. You're buying at this market rate, you're saving on inflation, you're then projecting the savings in line with inflation for 25 years, plus you're saving on electricity costs for that time as well. So solar PV makes at least 4 to 5% above the inflation rate on a return if the system is designed correctly for the house, which is way better than having money sat in an ISA or a pension fund or similar. Now, this isn't financial advice at all, but the reading is that as of the 1st of October, the price is going to go up again for winter, which I don't know what that price is going to be, but if there's anything to go by what it's moved by already, it's not going to be insignificant. I would keep an eye online. There's loads of stuff bumbling about. You know, Martin Lewis does some stuff on it. He actually broke this news about a week ago ahead of the Offgem announcement, or the formal announcement. So maybe keep your eyes on that. But it is a real sign that electrification is the future for the United Kingdom. Energy resilience is paramount to us making sure that we have safety, not only in how we use energy, how we buy energy, but ultimately how we generate it. We don't want to be buying energy offshore. We don't want to be relying on Middle Eastern countries to supply our oil and gas. We want to have local generation with solar PV, battery storage, and heat pumps running off green fuel, which, whether you believe it or not, is the future, and it is going to happen. And I fully believe in the next 10 years, everyone is going to be having or looking to have a heat pump installed. And I just want to say a big thank you. As of late, our YouTube channel has grown massively. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing right, but we're just trying to post educational content that people can relate to, and customers are trying to essentially weed through the noise when it comes to renewable energy. If you're not subscribed, it is totally free. We'd really appreciate it. It not only helps our channel grow, but it also gives me motivation to post more and more videos. In terms of what's coming up on the channel, the past 2 videos, this one included, are a little bit more news related because there has been a lot going on recently in the industry, which I just want to get a video out there rather than spend a long time talking about it on LinkedIn or what have you. But the next video is really sick. We're talking about a house that is essentially running zero cost using heat pump, solar and battery that has an EV as well. Now, that is a really, really cool video. Hopefully it'll be out by 2 weeks time maybe. I'm just in the process of finishing the script and we'll film it next week. So it's one of those videos where you don't want to miss it. So please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos or if you want to see more of this kind of news related topics, please let us know. They don't take long to produce. I can probably fire them out fairly quickly when stuff comes out. I have thought about making a separate YouTube channel just for this stuff, but ultimately I really need the feedback on this. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. I put a lot of time into this YouTube channel and the whole team really sees a return on it from customers coming to us looking to move to their energy solutions.